Okay, here we are. So this is my content plan that you can see on the screen here. It's very simple Google spreadsheet thing. So this first page here is kind of like the overview. So you'll see that here I have written down my content pillars, something that I've been working on. I actually got some help from Allie, an Instagram strategist, around this. I then have this little sheet of the day that things are published. So when I do everything on a Monday, it's scheduled to go out over the rest of the week. So you can see what I plan here across the different platforms that I use. And then I capture some other things here. So Facebook groups are shared to, the pattern I use for my newsletter, and the kind of the repurposing pattern that Caroline shared with me. So that's all here. I then have another little tab here, which is specifically around how I use the content pillars with my Instagram. So again, this came from Allie Mason. So this kind of like looks at my content pillars versus the platforms on Instagram. So again, what I find really helpful about this is there's no doubt. So when I sit down on a Monday, I know what week I'm in, and I can see, okay, so I'm going to make a carousel post about perfectionism. And then all I need to do is to think of some ideas, and I keep some of those here. And I have another little spreadsheet here that captures ideas that I get for newsletters, for blog posts, content ideas, all kind of like get captured here. So again, I've got resources I can fall back to. Then let me show you my current month. So this is May. So each month I create a new spreadsheet. So you can see it's got the days of the week, the different weeks. And so if I take you to next week, which I haven't done yet, you'll see that everything's here ready for me to go. So this makes it kind of like really simple for me to work through. And what is it that I need to do? I need to do today. So when I first sit down, I go through the Instagram posts here, and I update that with the plan I showed you a moment ago. And then it's a case of tackling these. I do them in a specific order, one that kind of works for me. So I do all of the easy wins first. So anything that's repurposing. So what I learned from Caroline Leon, what I do now is like my newsletter is always the new piece of content, and then I repurpose that onto different platforms. So I always start there because it gets me in the flow. It gets me like reconnected to stuff that I've shared in the past, and kind of like seems to ignite like a little bit of creativity. And also it means like after an hour, I've done nearly all of, like a lot of this goes green, right? A lot of this kind of starts to look like this. So I have that kind of sense of momentum. And then I tackle the new content. So that's when I start kind of moving over to create stuff on Instagram. So I use Canva to create most of my Instagram content, and then I will also sit down and write my newsletter. Yeah, it's fairly straightforward. I have a little blank template here, so you can see this one's from January, so that it's relatively easy for me to update for the month to come. And then all I do is like color things in. So when it's done, it goes green, like bright green. You'll see that some of these are kind of a lighter green, which means they're drafted, they're prepared and ready to go. Just like reels and things that you can't schedule. And I'm cheap and I don't pay for MailChimp, which means I can't schedule my newsletter. So it's all written, it's all prepped in MailChimp and ready to go. And I just need to hit send for that on Wednesday. The other thing to say about this is like it's not foolproof, right? There are weeks where it's like really difficult. I don't want to write a newsletter, or these lives are probably the ones that I miss the most. In which case, if I go back, you'll just see this one got grayed out. I didn't do this last week. I was on my bleed and I didn't feel like talking to people, so I didn't. Yeah, that's it. Like it's pretty easy. Oh, I've just realised that's missing. Go back in there. Yeah, it's a spreadsheet. So I guess the key things for me is that like everything's written down, so there's no second guessing when I come to this spreadsheet about what I need to do. Like it has everything mapped out for me, and I just work through the steps until it's done. Any questions? Let me know.